And the opportunity cost is the price that you paid for short-term safety. Listen to me on this. Short-term safety will compromise your long-term safety. It depends, because there's two types of risk. There's the obvious kind of risk, which is like very easy to see and identify and calculate, and you've got the risk of doing something and it not working. That's probably what you're talking about. It's like, look, I've got 2 kids and I can't just put $100,000 into something and it not work because I'm taking care of a family. So there's that type of risk. And then there's more of like hidden risk, which is like basically the risk of status quo. And this is where people really get messed up, is they spend all of their computing power, all of their mental bandwidth calculating the risk of doing something, and then they forget to calculate the risk of not doing something. There is no growth without investing some sort of risk. Okay. If you have $100,000, just bear with me for a second, because this is a complicated topic, but it's one that will make you literally millions of dollars. If you have $100,000 in the bank account and you want that $100,000 to last you the rest of your life, the worst thing you could possibly do is just leave it in that account, because money uninvested gets eaten away every single day by a million different things. Contrast that with putting that $100,000, taking $20,000, putting it over here into real estate, then take another $20,000 and you put it over there into another asset class. And then you take another $20,000 and you put it over here in a different asset class that has very, maybe low returns, but it's very safe. And then you keep the rest of that money in the account. What have you just done? You've actually built diversification into that money so that no matter what happens, a little bit's going to grow, a little bit might lose, and then you're safe with cash on hand. Okay. You want to do the same thing with risk. Let's say you have the equivalent of $100,000 of risk in the bank. You never invest it. Then you're going to lose big time on all of the opportunities that you could have leveraged with that risk out into the market. So we have risk inflation, just like we have money inflation. Like you're losing that risk every single day. And so I think it's a balance. I think that when someone becomes so obsessed with the obvious risks and they don't want to do anything, you got to look at your life and say, look, what's going to happen if nothing changes? What's going to happen if I just leave all this risk locked up in my bank account and I never learn and I never grow? And then you have opportunity cost, which is the gap between the two. And if you get to the end of your life and you realize that, you could have been a deca millionaire and your children could have gone to the best schools, and you maybe not to get morbid, but you can't afford the best healthcare for your family because you stayed stuck in a middle class capacity. Man, we're talking about risk at a whole new level at this point. And the opportunity cost is the price that you paid for short-term safety. Listen to me on this. Short-term safety will compromise your long-term safety. All right, so this is not a false dichotomy. It's a real dichotomy. I have a really good friend out in Memphis, and for 3 years, I tried to convince him to go out on his own and start his own business. He's like, it's too risky. I've got a kid. Once you have a kid, you'll understand. Okay, whatever. You play the kid card on me. Can't really do anything about it. All I've got is dogs, right? And he got let go. And then then he's got 3 months of freak out and turmoil and crises because he made decisions built around short-term obvious risk. He didn't calculate the long-term safety. He didn't calculate that curve on, well, what if something happens and I've got nothing else built out? You hear what I'm saying? Short-term safety typically is going to compromise your long-term security. So when you make investments into the long term, it's oftentimes going to feel kind of risky now. It's going to feel weird now. That's just a rule. It's a law of the universe. So I would say to the person asking this question, you got 2 kids. It's amazing. Congrats. You want to make choices now that put you in a position to be the best possible father and the best caregiver and the best provider for them later. And so the risk that you should be looking at is not necessarily right now, today. The risk is like 20 years from now. Like, are you going to be the leader that they learn from? You're going to be some washed up middle earner who can't really take care of your family. And if you make decisions right now that are devoid of any risk, you're never going to grow to be what your potential requires.